Hi everyone, good morning. We'll be starting in just a few minutes from now. I see there's already some people joining us today, so welcome to our Best Practices in Banking webinar today. Excited to show everyone what we'll be talking about today and how openthebox can further help you I see some familiar people joining, some people I don't think I've talked to in the past before, so welcome to all of you. Right. I still see some people joining. It's 10 o'clock, so I think we should be ready to start rolling our first best practice in banking webinar. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. It's been a while since we've done like the customer-centered webinars. Today it's the best practices in banking webinar. So I'm very happy to see all of you attending today. First of all, I'd like to just tell a little bit more about myself. My name is Jonas Moordgat. I'm the Enterprise Customer Success Manager at openthebox. As I said before, I see some familiar faces joining as well. So some of you might have already talked to me before. Of course, for people that are new to openthebox or haven't had a chance to work with openthebox yet, what is openthebox? Well, we're a real-time insights, or we're a business data platform offering real-time insights for faster financial decisions. It also helps with early identification of credit and market risks, gives custom analytics to banking portfolios, and also dashboards for internal and regulatory collaboration. This, of course, made possible by capturing official data sources that we gather real time. What we'll cover during the webinar, well, what you have seen in our posts on LinkedIn, for example, we already covered some of what we will cover. But today I would like to talk to you about the client meeting preparation, how openthebox can help bankers preparing their meetings, I should say, how we can find client information, prospect insights before meetings, but also how you can gather all of the information to be better prepared for your meetings. Also going to be giving a short sneak peek in a new report we've been building. It's not yet live, but it will be live very shortly. So people in the webinar here will be the first ones to actually see a new report that we've been working on. Right after we've done the client meeting preparation, discussed how openthebox can help you further prep for meetings. I like to look at the targeted prospecting with financial filters. So then we'll go into the advanced search tool within openthebox, where we'll be looking at different trends you can spot, different financial criteria you can use, and also how you can use specific financial criteria to find high potential companies or targets, I should say. And then, of course, we'll talk about how you can export that information and how you can use that information to further help with your prospecting. After we've looked at the advanced search, I'd like to talk about the real-time monitoring with lists. Some of you might have already seen lists, the new navigation in openthebox, where people or where your users can stay ahead with automated notifications on key changes. For example, if one of the customers you're following or one of the prospects that you're following is publishing new financials, is publishing new information about shareholders, or information about administrators that have changed. So these are the three main topics I would like to cover. Of course, feel free to leave your questions in the Q&A section, and during the call, and also after the call, I'll make sure to answer those questions. Well, without further ado, I'll share my screen and we'll dive into openthebox to see how openthebox can help you with these three topics. Let's just share my screen real quick. All right. So my share should be, my screen should be shared, I should say. For most of you, I would think that this is not a new screen. For people that are joining us today that haven't used openthebox, this is our landing page. So whenever you're navigating to openthebox and you're ready to use a tool, this is basically the screen that you'll see. As I just said, I'd like to start with showing you guys how you can be better prepared for meetings, or how openthebox can help you prepare for your first customer or first meeting with a new customer or a new prospect. For that, I'll be using the direct search. Direct search is here the field we'll find at the center of the screen, where you'll be able to find companies or people. So it doesn't matter if you're looking at an entrepreneur, a company, or even with a VAT number. All of these types of searches can be done directly right here. If I just start using or start typing, I'll be using Mediafin as an example. Mediafin, the publisher of the TED, L'Echo, and the business newspapers, but also the company above openthebox. That search, whenever I click on enter, will bring me directly to the company profile. And this really is the start of our meeting prep. This screen, even if you just have 15 minutes, will contain key information to be better prepared for the meeting that you're going to walk in. Whether it is that you're wanting to find more about the people behind the company, or if you're looking for key financial information, it'll all be listed on this main screen called the company profile. For this example, I'm researching a company. Of course, the same kind of information will be available if you're researching entrepreneur, for example. Let's say you're a private banker and you're really looking for individuals, then of course the same kind of research can be done, and the same kind of page can be found for individuals or entrepreneurs. I won't be going over all of the tabs that we see here above, but basically all of these tabs contain more in-depth information that the company profile has summarized for your convenience. I'll just go over the company profile, and then some of the tabs I think will be most important for you as a banker to discover, maybe also on yourself after this call. What we see right here on the company profile, first of all, some general information about the name, VAT number, legal form, the address, status, juridical situation. All that information, of course, is also up to date. All the information you see on the openthebox will be updated at least once a day. Whenever you're navigating openthebox, you'll also always see a reference to our sources. On this page, for example, here top right, you'll see our different sources listed as well. openthebox, or we as openthebox, always try to be as transparent as possible. And for you as a banker, we know that having information, but also having sources of where openthebox got that information is very important. So this means that all the information here can always be traced back, or you can always trace back to the original source as well. But you'll see on top right here as well, and that's a feature that we released last year. So people that might have been using openthebox for a while now, maybe it's still new, but at least here on top in this example, because we captured the URL of Mediafin, we were also able to gather some key information about the real activities of Mediafin, key activities being activities listed on their own website. So in this case, two French keywords, éditeur, actualité, so it's a publisher, and also something about news. So this information is enhancing the activities that we are already capturing using the NIST codes, gathering from the official publications that we captured from Mediafin. If I just scroll down, you'll see here some key information about mandates. So even if you have only 15 minutes to prepare your meeting, whenever you're taking a look at this Spiderweb in just this one screen, you'll be able to find who's behind this company, who are important people that maybe I should be talking to, or maybe who are people that should be joining the conversation that we as a bank are having with, in this case, for example, Mediafin, or the company that you're researching. If I scroll down just a little bit further, you'll see the same kind of view or Spiderweb, but then with the participations and the shareholders. Again, here, information that we're getting from official sources. And in this case, maybe a short side note, information that we're gathering from the annual accounts, both published by Mediafin and by the shareholders. So Mediafin will be publishing about their own participations, being these for companies, in this case, and Rossel and Rolarta, they'll be publishing that they are a shareholder of Mediafin. If I scroll down here, we'll have some key financials. Something that has changed in the last few weeks, and that maybe not all of our users are aware of yet, is that we've also added EBITDA as a key financial indicator. Of course, it's an indicator that I think every banker is looking at whenever they're preparing a meeting, or at least whenever they're researching a specific company. So we've added it for your convenience just here as well on the company profile. Some other key financials with graphs that you'll see here as well. Financial health indicator. Basically, long story short, financial health indicator basically shows what are the chances that this company will go bankrupt between this and the next 3 years. 1 out of 10, meaning company will probably go bankrupt. 10 out of 10, just like Mediafin, lucky me, means that the company probably won't be going bankrupt. The news, as some of you might have already seen, the last year we've also added the Tijd as one of our sources for news articles. Of course, as a banker, you want to be prepared with official information. You want to know what's being written in official publications, like, for example, the National Bank for annual accounts, or official publications from the Belgian official Gazette. But you also want to know what's happening or what's being written that might not yet be official, but might become official very, very shortly. And that's why we've added the Tijd as one of our new sources. For the French-speaking people that are joining, that have joined today, we didn't forget you at all. We are also looking at adding L'Echo, so basically the sister of the Tijd for our French-speaking bankers here today, and we'll be adding that probably the next or the second half of this year, second half of 2025. If I scroll all the way down to the page, here we'll see the 3 most recent publications from the Belgian official Gazette. Also important information, because maybe it's been a while since you last talked to your customer, or maybe it's the first time you're talking to a new customer. It's always nice to also have the most recent publications, just to know what's been happening the last few months or last few years within the company. If something major happened, you've already got your key points to discuss. As I mentioned before, I won't be going over all of the tabs. It would take us too far. But of course, after the call, whenever there are questions about specific tabs that you've seen, don't hesitate to just also let me know or ask a question. Something I want to look into though is the Spiderweb. Spiderweb, probably something that's is being used by all of you, or at least if you're already a user. From what we hear from banks, is that this is very helpful with both preparing for a meeting, but also the part of prospecting. That's something that we'll look further into when we're going to the advanced search. But the Spider basically gathers all the information about who's basically connected with Mediafin, who's part of the network of Mediafin, both entrepreneurs, people that are having a mandate as an administrator, for example, but also people or also companies that are being named or they're being shown as a participation or shareholder of Mediafin. It's very easy to play around with. So basically, all the icons here you can drag and play with it. And of course, all of the icons also can be clicked on to further expand the network. So what we're seeing right now is the first degree network of Mediafin, but of course, not only for prospecting, but also just for getting to know your customer, KYC. You want to know, okay, but who is behind the network of, for example, one of these administrators, let's say Xavier Bouckaert in this instance. It's just very easy. With just one click, we'll be opening the network behind Xavier Bouckaert, which then shows us all the companies that are behind Xavier Bouckaert. So for example, if I'm a banker ready to prepare a meeting, I want to know, okay, who's Xavier Bouckaert? I want to know who are all the other people. And then I can see, okay, well, their network is pretty big. Maybe it's a discussion point to, okay, where are other opportunities for a bank? Where else can we show our service, or where else can we get introduced by, for example, in this case, Xavier Bouckaert. If I just click on reset right here, I can go back to participations. And the participations page will basically show us the same thing as with the administrators. So same thing here, I can click on the shareholders, for example, and their whole network of other participations or even shareholders will open as well. So I click, for example, on Rossel and Compagnie. You'll see that the whole network of other participations opens below Rossel, but you'll also see that another shareholder is being mentioned here in openthebox. So for me, knowing that, if I would be a banker, knowing that Rossel is a shareholder of Midafin, but then again, Rossel Invest is a shareholder of Rossel, it'll help me to further prepare, but also help me to make a good impression whenever I'm entering a discussion with a client. So you don't just want to be better prepared for yourself to know, okay, what might be happening or what might be some discussion points. We also want to show your customer, okay, I don't just know what you're doing and why you're asking us to help you, but I also know exactly what your situation is, what your network is, and how we can further help you. All right. So if you just click on reset, you'll see that just the basic Spiderweb, the first degree Spiderweb, will be shown again. Same kind of information will be shown here in the mandates list. So here you'll see, again, as I mentioned before, all of our sources being mentioned. So Xavier Bouckaert is being mentioned as an administrator in all of the sources, the National Bank, the Belgian Official Gazette, and the crossroads for enterprises in Belgium. If you scroll all the way down, and then we're talking again about, for example, KYC, you'll also see that we can click on show historic information. That's just to know, okay, what was the information, for example, up until yesterday? What was the information up until last year? So basically, if anything has changed, or if people that you maybe might not want to do business with, or people that you just want to be aware of that are also have been part of the company, you can just click on show historic information, and there you'll have all of the information available. Of course, same thing for the participations. Here we'll see the shareholders that we've already seen in Spiderweb. Just a quick side note I want to add here is that shareholdership is only published or is only captured by openthebox in the annual accounts. And of course, the annual accounts, the companies are only obliged to publish about shareholders whenever there's a 10% shareholdership or more. So if a company has a shareholder for less than 10%, openthebox won't be able to capture it if it's not being published. Of course, if a company is not obliged to publish something, we all know they probably won't be publishing it anyway. Participations, also just a whole list of participations that are being shown here. And again, for your convenience, just if you just want to find out, okay, I just want to know who's the parent company of all the companies I see here in the list, just click on parent companies. Then again, in this case, you'll see the shareholders that we've already seen in the Spiderweb. Next thing I want to show you is the financials. Of course, you as a banker, this might be one of the first steps you want to navigate to. It gives you key information on, okay, what was the financial situation of a certain company. Here you can find information that you can either just look for an openthebox, or you can also just easily export it back to add into your own models, for example. First, you'll get a financial overview. Again, whenever you're prepping, just gives you an overview of key financial information. And again, recently we've added the EBITDA. So here you can see the evolution. openthebox will always try to go back at least 15 years if possible. But then again, there we're trying to go back 15 years. Might not always be possible, but if it's possible, you'll see that we've got the information and the graphs to also show you the evolution in just one screen here. Financial ratios. Here you'll find financial ratios, and of course, for a banker, it might be very important to start a meeting or actually walk into a meeting being prepared. Okay, what are some key financial information, key financial ratios that I want to talk to? Is there something that I should be aware of? Are the ratios that might not be as good as they should be? Then, of course, these are topics that you might want to discuss with your customer or with a prospect whenever you're walking to the first meeting or the meeting with a customer you've already known, where you just check the ratios. Of course, here we find some key information like the EBITDA again, but all other ratios are also listed right here. For example, liquidity, something that's very popular, and we know that a lot of bankers are looking at liquidity ratios. They're all listed right here. Of course, if enough information is available in the annual accounts of said company. We won't just gather the financial ratios or won't just give you the overview. We'll also just show you the annual accounts. So here you'll see all the way to where openthebox is able to gather the information. You'll see that we captured the annual accounts. Something we've recently added is here whenever you click on export to Excel. We've got still our legacy export available, just like a basic, pretty dry export to Excel, but also our more styled version of export, where it's very easy and maybe more easy for you to read the annual accounts and also gather information from the annual accounts. The reason we're keeping the legacy export is maybe you've already created some models that you want to keep, so that way we don't ruin the models and the information can be exported and imported the same way as you were used to. So both are available to all of our users as well. Again, here, social balance. I won't go deeper into the social balance, but it's information that we are also capturing from the annual accounts, of course, information about employees that you can find right here. The news, that's something that I want to go a bit more in depth with, because right here, as I mentioned before, on the company profile, you'll find articles wherever the company you're researching or the person you've been researching is being mentioned in. So, for example, this latest article right here, you'll see here that that Medafin has been mentioned in the article. So here you'll see the reason for mentioning. Why is Medafin being mentioned? Are there other relations that have been mentioned, other relations in the article that openthebox was able to capture? And then again, something that's possible is that just clicking here on open will give you the whole article. So openthebox will take the whole article from the TED, but we'll also be adding people that have been mentioned or companies that have been mentioned. So this way, you don't have to read the whole article. In this case, the article is not very long. You can just here look on the left and see, okay, what companies have been mentioned, are the companies that should be known, that they should be aware of. Maybe something, a journalist wrote something about a merger ready to be happening, but not being officially published in the Belgian official gazette, for example. This is information you want to find, and also a starting point of other companies that you can start researching. Just simply click on these companies, and you'll be able to see what information openthebox is gathering about those companies as well. Of course, if you want to read the article on the TED itself, you can click on the source, the TED, but then again, you'll need a subscription to the TED to be able to read the whole article there. So that's the news, and you'll see here all of the news articles where Medafin has ever been mentioned are being captured. So it doesn't matter if your prospect or if your customer has been mentioned yesterday or 5 years ago. The article will be shown here for you to basically prepare the meeting or to be better prepared and gather further knowledge about your customer. Tab right next to it, publications. These are official publications that we get from the Belgian official gazette. And of course, right here, I won't be opening all of these tabs, but right here, you'll see the subject of the publication, main mentions. So which people or what companies have been mentioned, why have they been mentioned? If you want to read the full article, you can either navigate to the Belgian official gazette right here. You can click on open. And again, same thing happens right here as we did with articles from the TED. The people being mentioned are just here on the left. You can easily navigate. For example, if I click on this person right here, openthebox will take me right to the place where the person has been mentioned. So that way, even if you're preparing a meeting on 15 minutes before the meeting is happening, you can just click and navigate openthebox very easily to prepare and to see, okay, which people are important or which mentions of people are important for me to know about. I won't be going over the activities. Of course, it's very self-explanatory. Something I want to talk about right now is how we can use this information and how we can also start following people, following customers, following prospects in openthebox to start getting more information or start actually getting notified about changes happening within the company. You'll see that I'm already following this company. So right here, since I'm clicking on following, I'm already getting notifications by email whenever Medafin is or openthebox is capturing new information about Medafin. As I said before, openthebox is capturing information real time. So if Medafin is publishing information today, then of course I will be notified. Whenever you want to see what companies you are following, or whenever you want to add your companies yourself to start following, you can easily go to lists. And right here on lists, here is where all the notifications can be started, or here's where you can decide what notifications you want to be getting about certain companies. You'll see I'm following one company, being Medafin, what I just showed, but you'll also see a list that I've added here, being called My Customers. And that's a list you can easily add by clicking on Add here in the top right-hand corner. Just copy paste the names or the VAT numbers of the companies you want to be following, and this makes it very easy to not only follow companies clicking the follow button in openthebox, but also upload your own lists of prospects you've gathered in the past, lists of customers that are already in your portfolio, and then that way you can be notified about companies or about people that are part of your portfolio. You'll see that openthebox has been makes it very easy to receive notifications. But I also see that a question is being asked in our chat here, right here. Let me just see right here. Okay. Let's see. I can say it if you want. Okay. Yes.
Is there a way to know the percentage of shares owned by individuals?
For individuals, well, that's a great question indeed. So whenever we were talking about shareholdership, I also already mentioned that that's information that we're getting from the annual accounts. So of course, since individuals, that information is not being published officially or not being made public, that's all information openthebox or any other platform will be able to capture. But great question, and maybe something I should have clarified before. But the information we're getting is only information from shareholdership from companies and not individuals. I was still discussing the notifications. So here, as I mentioned before, you can add lists by yourself. You can click on the follow button if it's just a few companies you want to follow. And right here, you can click on the settings and decide what notifications you want to be getting. And usually, whenever you're starting notifications, all of the different notifications that you can create will be selected. But of course, you can play around with, okay, let's say annual accounts from its important publications. Less important, you can decide to either activate or deactivate the different kind of notifications. I would say play around with it and see what information you can gather from your prospects. But I think it's very important or very nice to know, okay, if something happens with a customer, whenever something changes about a shareholder, or for example, whenever a company is publishing a lot of new administrators, might be telling me that, for example, the company got sold, and might be interesting for you as a bank. Okay, good to know that the company got sold. Maybe we can offer our services or other products to a specific customer. Right after the lists here, where we can follow and start notifications and follow customers, follow prospects, I would like to go to the advanced search. That's the prospecting tool. Feel free to send your questions if you've got any questions about things I've been talking to until this moment. The advanced search, we can go to the advanced search here on the top right, or going back to the landing page, you'll see a big button saying advanced search, I should say. As I'm entering the advanced search, you'll see right away here on the top that openthebox has found more than 2 million companies at this moment. Let's say today 100 companies got started and got published in the Belgian Official Gazette. Then later today, in a couple of hours, openthebox will be adding those to the list as well. So whenever you're using openthebox to either prepare a meeting or to start a new prospecting or create a new prospecting list, you can rest assured that openthebox is taking into account all of the companies that have been found right up until today, up until this moment. I won't be going over all of the parameters, all of the filters that we can use. I'll just go over the ones that I think might be most important for bankers. And of course, depending on which kind of banker you are, there might be some small differences as well. As you'll see right here on the left, today we've got over 200 different parameters that can be used. One of them is, for example, location. Let's say you're a banker working in a specific region. It's very easy to just select the type of province, region, city, even a street, and a house number if wanted. I think most of you will have already seen our real activities filter by now. So in the past, of course, openthebox already captured in. Today, of course, we're still capturing activities being published as a NACE code. So NACE codes, of course, are still the official way of a company to publishing their activities. But we've noticed, and I'm sure some of you have already noticed in the past, that a NACE code can be pretty vague, can be pretty broad, and doesn't necessarily actually show or tell us what a company or what activity a company is actually doing or actually active in. So let's say, for example, here we've got a specific kind of niche industry that we want to research, that we want to find companies in, but there's no real niche code that we know of or that we can find that describes that specific activity. Then here, the activities filters can help us to get started and help us how to find that specific company. Something I've heard of from many of you or many bankers is, for example, a family business as an example. So, for example, I'm a private banker. I want to find companies or businesses that are family businesses. And this makes it very easy because, of course, there's no official NIST code to find family businesses. But if, for example, a company has written on their website, well, we are a family business, then here you can click or you can search for family business, describe the activity, and openthebox will look for these keywords in the websites that we've been able to capture. Let's just try out and see what happens. So if I click on family business, you'll see openthebox will take some time, but then right here you'll see the list that openthebox has found where companies are being listed that on their website have also been or also mentioning the word family business or the words family and business somewhere on the website as a description of their activity. So right here, for example, if I take the top here, couple of few businesses, we'll all see that family business is being mentioned on the website with an accuracy score of more than 90%. So that means that, yeah, the words that I'm researching on are actually coming back or are matching with the words mentioned on the website of these companies. So let's say we found a region, we found our activity that we want to look for, we found a specific niche or specific keywords that we want to look for. You can scroll down, of course, NIST codes recently added by openthebox as well, the 2025 NIST codes. So our government recently published new NIST codes. openthebox already has them all published for every company in Belgium. If I scroll down, you see we can still play around with some juridical situations, juridical forms, different types of companies you want to research. But I think for you bankers, it might be more interesting or most interesting to also look at the financial and social tab that you'll find all the way at the bottom. And right here, you'll find a few key indicators, financial indicators that we've already discussed, for example, in the company profile. For example, if you don't have a lot of time, you can just drag and drop here and just, for example, filter on operating income, filter on equity, even a financial health indicator, where you can predict the chances of a company going bankrupt, are all part of the key financials that can be used as a filter. But let's say you want to go more in depth, you want to find specific filters. We've also added here the option to basically enter any official number of the balance sheet being published by the companies. There are a lot of different filters for a lot of different kind of use cases. I know a lot of bankers are very interested in, for example, this 133 available reserves of a specific company, because of course available reserves means that maybe the company is ready to invest, maybe the company is ready to I don't know, setting aside money to in the future being able to invest or make some investments where you as a bank can help them with, or maybe you can start offering your solutions before actually they start working or actually activating those reserves. Let's say I'm just filtering on this specific number, the 133 available reserves. And let's say, for example, we want to look for at least 100,000 euros on this in this specific field. Let's see if any companies will still remain in the list. Then again, we've made a filter, and right now you'll see that these companies are still matching with the previous filters I've used, but also the specific one, though the financial filter I've just added, will be added all the way to the right, and will also show me that these companies indeed have at least 100,000 euros available on their reserves. Good to know is that there are no limits, so you can basically enter any kind of part of the balance sheet as an official filter. So you basically can keep on adding any filter. Also good to know is that you can just type in any number, but you also can type in or use any trends that openthebox has gathered or any ratios that we've already calculated in our backend. So let's say, for example, you want to see here, okay, what is the evolution of, for example, their EBITDA? So the evolution at 3 years annualized. Then it can also be used as one of the filters. And basically, you can combine all these filters until you've got a list of which you'll be saying, okay, well, this is a list I can work on. This is a list I can work with. This is a list where, yeah, these are companies that seem to be interesting to me. Let's just say I'm also filtering on the financial health indicator, and should be at least 7, for example, just to make a list a little bit shorter. And then you'll see here on top, you'll always see the amount of companies being found. If you click on charts, you'll also see some charts of these specific companies with some basic information about all of these different companies together. So, for example, all these key financials. Okay, where are all the companies in this list? Where are they all compared to each other? For example, when we're talking about equity, EBITDA, profit, all this information is gathered right here. What are the NAICS codes that are coming that are showing up most often? All being shown right here in the charts. What you'll see right here is the 100 most relevant companies. If you want to get a view of all of the companies being part of this specific list, then you can click on export. And the export functionality is one of the 3 actions we can take with a list. Let's say you're happy with the list you've created. You can just click on the export tab, and right here, openthebox will let you export all of these, a little bit more than 1,700 companies, to an Excel file. Something we've added, and mainly because of you guys, of bankers also requesting us to add this feature, is also being able to add additional export fields to your Excel sheet. Basically, what this will do is, next to the basic key financials that you're already seeing in the list here in openthebox, you can basically add any financial criteria, any financial parameter taken from balance sheets and the annual accounts as an extra column in your Excel sheet. So let's say, for example, the 133 available reserves is something I've used to filter these companies. I can easily edit as an extra column in this specific Excel sheet. Whenever I click on export, I create an Excel sheet, and this Excel sheet will, next to the company name, of course, will also have the VAT number, contact information, if of course captured by openthebox, being a general email address or general phone number, streets, so the address of the company, and of course all the financial information as well. As you'll see, our users here will have 24,000 free exports each year. I don't know many people that will reach that limit, but of course, if you do, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll definitely find a way to resolve the issue. Next to the export, there are 2 more actions that we can take. I've already shown before how you can create lists or upload lists in openthebox. Well, you can also use the advanced search to create a new list of companies you want to follow, companies you want to be notified about. And this is what also happens when I click on Save These Companies. Whenever I click on Save These Companies, I'll just do it right now. And I click here on Test Webinar. openthebox will show me a specific list of these companies. And whenever I click on Create, then this new list is being created. And under List, I'll find a new entity group, as we call it, of these specific companies. So here, Test Webinar. And again, notifications are automatically being set. So whenever one of these companies that I think are interesting because they're a family business and all of the other criteria also match, then I'll be notified, and maybe I can jump or maybe I can just call them, or maybe I can do some more research on the specific company and the new information being made available. If I just go back real quick to the list I've just created, you'll see a third action that we can take, and that's save this search. Save this search, I think, will be or can be a very strong and very useful tool for all of you bankers that are doing research but don't want to necessarily do the same kind of search every week or every month. Just simply start using openthebox and create all of your different kinds of searches. You can save the search, meaning save all of the parameters, and openthebox will automatically notify you whenever a new company or company that's maybe changed is matching with the criteria that you've mentioned here on the left in openthebox. One reason this can be helpful to further expand your prospecting is, well, to automatically be notified of new prospects, so you don't have to research them in openthebox, but you also know whenever something happens with a company, and also being the first one to actually jump on the company or call the company or contact the company to be able to offer your services. We know that the market sometimes can be pretty active, and a lot of people, a lot of banks might jump on the same opportunity. But you can rest assured that using openthebox, you'll be one of the first to actually be notified of changes happening, or of companies that might be interesting for your specific use case or your specific products or services that you get to offer as a banker. These searches, for example, I save this search right here, and again, I'll just create a new search, being test webinar. These searches can be found all the way on top here on the right under searches, and right here, you'll see test webinar, and the same kind of notifications that we had before can be shown here in the, or will be shown through email. Email, it's a pretty basic email. It'll just be like, hi, this is an email just to notify you that company X has been added to your list Y because, I don't know, something has happened, something that's being published in these notifications. These are the three activities or the three actions that you can take after you've done your advanced filtering. I think these are also the most important tools I think that are being used by bankers today, and I think might be interesting for people that might not have used openthebox in the past. I also think that these basically are on top are short demo for today, and I'd like to look if there are any other questions being asked right now, because I think another question has been asked as well. Let's see right here if I can find the question. Okay, so I see a question about from one of the bankers here joined us today. What is the difference between the saved lists and the saved searches? That's actually a pretty good question. So whenever I go back to here to our entity or our advanced search, I should say, we can save the lists and save the search. As I mentioned before, whenever we're saving the companies, you're actually saving the companies that are part of this specific group. So no other company will be added. It's just these a little bit more than 1,700 companies that are part of your specific group. But of course, let's say all the parameters that you've used. Of course, in the future, maybe other companies might be matching the same kind of parameters. In this case, you won't be notified because you'll only be notified of changes happening within this specific group and saved list that you've created in openthebox. Let's say you want to be notified of future developments or other companies that might not be matching your criteria today, but might be matching your criteria tomorrow or next year or in the years ahead of us. Then it might be interesting to save the search, because there you'll be saving all the criteria that we've used. For example, the keywords family business, the available reserves that we've used to filter. So if a company matches that specific search, they'll be added to your list. Same thing happens whenever a company is not matching the criteria anymore. It'll also be taken out of your list, and then again you'll be notified. Okay, dear X company, this specific company has been taken out of your saved search because they're not matching your criteria anymore. But great question, of course, and thanks for asking. Let's just see if there's any more questions right now. Okay, just going back real quick. Okay. Let's see. And then again, I've got a question if it's also available in the styled export. Well, the styled export, I'm assuming you're talking about the styled export we've seen in the financials and the company profile. Well, this export right here, as you can see right here, if I just export the entities right here, this is not a styled export. This specific export is just a general export, just listing the different VAT numbers, company names, and all the financials all at once. Because this, the annual accounts, of course, they'll always have the same kind of fields available, same kind of numbers that are being added. Of course, some companies might not be publishing every part of the annual accounts. Right here, it's just the export that we'll be receiving right here. But of course, you can add and you can play around with just the different kinds of exports or different kinds of fields you want to add, different kinds of columns you want to add. But there is no styled version of this one. But thanks for asking. A great question. All right. Let's just see if there's questions. Feel free to still ask some more questions. The last question, is a manual available? I'm assuming you're meaning like a help desk manual or any help. Well, of course, maybe it's also a great way to show you our help desk. Right now, here, if you go Right here, you can click if you see right here the question mark. They will take you to our help desk. That's actually something that we're very actively working on as we speak. As of right now, we're creating a lot of new content specifically for bankers, specifically for different kinds of people using openthebox. But right now, there's some basic information about, for example, Spiderweb, about, for example, business development and how you can use advanced search as a business development tool. Just know that as of right now, there's more basic information available, and in the next couple of weeks, we'll be releasing a lot more content specifically dedicated to, for example, also bankers and use cases we've gathered from webinars like this or conversations with our customers in the past. So there's a manual available for sure. And also, again, maybe nice to know is that the recording of this webinar will also be available afterwards. So if ever you should have a question about things we've discussed today, but you forgot, feel free to reach out and or feel free to watch the recording, which will be shared, of course, right after the call later today as well. Let's just see if there are any more questions. I don't think there are any more questions. Okay, well, there are no more questions popping in the next few seconds. I think we can round up for today. I'll just stop sharing my screen, and then I would still like to thank you all for your attendance. Let's see right here. Actually, one thing, because I still see we've got 15 more minutes. Another thing I would like to still discuss today with you is, of course, the report that we're building. As I mentioned before, as I mentioned during the previous slide, one thing we've been working on vividly, and also we've been working on after we got a lot of feedback from bankers in your industry, is a report basically gathering all the information from a specific company that you're researching. Let me just share the report here with you real quick. All right, so right here, whenever this is, first of all, this is a draft, so this is not something that's live yet, but it will be going live not too long from now. What we've seen within banks and the questions we got from banks, okay, well, I want to go to my customer, but I want to have like a document basically having all of the key information from that specific customer, and also want to show the customer that I came prepared, but I also want to have all the key information to, for example, to your own files or to your own portfolio that you have about a certain customer. Here in this case, we've made a first draft using Medafin as an example, with, of course, some basic information on the first page right here. I won't be able to zoom in any further because then I know that the tool we're using might crash. But of course, we would be happy to provide you with this first draft right after the call. For people that might not have seen it yet, this is a draft that we've been working on, and of course, we can help you share right after. This first draft is in Dutch, but basically what you'll see right here is a table of contents. So what will be part of the document right here? Just some general information about this specific company, about publications, about the industry they're active in, about the keywords that we've discussed previously as well, about the people that are being mentioned in the most recent publications, also who's mentioned as an administrator, who's mentioned as a shareholder, all of the information that is not yet part of an export as of today, but will be part of this report in general. If I scroll further down, again, we get an image, or we get the Spiderwebs as seen on the company profile. So basically, this just takes that spider and puts it in document that can either print out or you can just save for your convenience or to use after to take with you to a specific meeting that you're having with a customer or with a new prospect. Of course, some financial key figures, and also here we've added the EBITDA again after we got questions from bankers or more requests from bankers. So again, showing that, of course, we're always open to listen to specific requests. We can never promise that we'll be publishing or we'll be creating every request, but of course, always happy to listen and always open to see what might be making your experience with openthebox even better. If I scroll a bit further down, you'll also see that we'll be adding the news articles. Of course, today it'll just be news articles from the TED, and in the near future also from Leco for our French-speaking people here in the webinar as well. So this document will basically provide you with enough information to come prepared to a specific meeting, and all the way here in the end, you'll also find some financials, basically just the balance sheets, the annual accounts, the short summary that will be added, and it'll also be able to show you to your customer, okay, I know your situation. I don't want to just sell to you, but also want to understand what you're doing, and to be able to understand you, I did my research. So it's not just for your own convenience, but also just to show that you've become or that you came prepared to the specific meeting as well. So this is our report. Feel free to reach out if you'd like to see the first draft of this report. I would be happy to share it with everyone who's in this call as well. Just know that it's a first draft, and whenever the official launch will be happening, of course, again, you'll be notified, and we'll make sure to let you know that the new tool or the new feature will be available as well. You can be expecting it very soon from us as well. So I think that will bring us to the end of this specific webinar. Maybe if there are more questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A section. I'll see if I can find more questions right here. Okay, are there any plans to further get or to get information outside of Belgium? Well, we as you've seen right now, all the information as of right now available in openthebox is of course just Belgian data, Belgian official sources. But as we speak right now, we're definitely looking at other. We're definitely also looking at information outside of Belgium. Can't share too much yet, but we'll be sharing something about it in the very near future for sure. Any more questions that are popping up? Not that I see right now. Okay, well, then I would like to finish this webinar just by saying that the recording of this webinar will be shared as well, and will be available after this webinar has been finished and has been processed. So whenever you or your colleagues who couldn't join today would like to watch the recording, you'll be notified right after, and later today, and in the next coming weeks, we'll also be sharing more content about the topics discussed in this specific webinar as well. Okay, well, then goodbye from our side, and hope to speak to you soon. Feel free to reach out if you get any more questions about the topics discussed today, and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.